Welcome back to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. And this particular one I'm very excited about because it's a huge thing. And we're discussing massive weight loss on today's episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. And you have a patient who's willing to come on and talk to us about this.
We sure do. So I'm super excited today because this is a very important topic. The idea or the topic of what we refer to as massive weight loss refers to individuals who have lost a significant amount of weight, somewhere from the orders of 50 to 70 to, and in this particular instance, over 100 pounds.
Over 100 pounds.
Correct. Over 100 pounds. And it's a really important topic because, unfortunately, in this country currently we have an epidemic, and that epidemic is obesity. And so 50% of this country is obese. And so
50%?
That's right.
What percentage is what does morbidly obese mean?
So there are just different categories of obese, morbidly obese, and super obese. And bottom line is that it's people are unhealthy. And so what we are excited about is when people are able to, as I'm going to get into with our patient today, to have lost that weight and that journey and what it all entails, because it's a huge, huge accomplishment. So today we have one of my favorite patients, Taddy, we're going to introduce her in a second, who is going to discuss and has been courageous enough to come on and talk about her individual journey. We recently did her journey actually on People Magazine.
Wow.
And so it just goes to underscore how relevant this topic is. And we're going to try to touch on the beginning, the middle, and end of this process.
It's a story. It's a journey.
Yes. So, hey, Taddy, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I want to ask you, I want to get right into it because I was 30 to 35 pounds overweight most of my life, and that was daunting. So I can't even imagine over 100 pounds overweight. How is it? I have to ask. It's a personal question. How did you get that much overweight? What was the psychology? What were you thinking? Can you kind of walk me through how you found yourself at 100+ pounds overweight?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a struggle my entire life being overweight, and I think it came a point to where I just gave up on trying to look perfect and just, ate whatever I wanted and didn't realize how much weight I'm gaining. And then, one day I stood on the scale and I was like, this has got to stop, because it had a really negative impact on my life, not only emotionally, but also physically. I wasn't able to move the way I wanted to, run, go up the stairs, or wear the things I wanted. And I was so insecure, and I really needed to put an end to it. And I'm glad that I did.
What was the number on the scale? If you don't, I have to know. I'm curious.
The heaviest I was 250 pounds. And when I saw that on the scale, and for such a long time, I was so scared to stand on that scale. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely ridiculous, and it has to stop now.
Well, congratulations, because what it is about having the willpower and the courage to eventually make a difference in your own life. We all know we all struggle with different things, and weight is no different than smoking, than drinking, and et cetera. So that's awesome. So, obviously people really understand the psychological barrier and difficulties of being overweight. But what's really interesting, and only maybe I really understand this, is the psychological issues of after you've lost the weight. So in your instance, you lost the weight through, what was it that you did?
The gastric sleeve.
Right, which I think is a phenomenal medical advancement. At the end of the day, it does not matter, and I want everyone to hear this, how you lose the weight. It doesn't matter if it's diet and exercise. It doesn't matter if you have surgery. It doesn't matter if you move on an island where there's no food. The only thing that matters from a health standpoint is that you have made it to a healthy weight, because your heart appreciates it, your hips appreciate it, your body appreciates
joints.
it. So once you made that journey, what I think is really interesting, and I think this is part of it that people don't really understand, and I would like you to talk about it, is so now you've lost this 100 pounds plus, and oddly in clothes you can camouflage now you've lost this weight. But tell us a little about the new type of insecurity that one finds, which is people think you look great in clothes, but you and I both know that when it's time to be intimate or at the pool, you have this other insecurity that's now as a result of having lost that weight. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I was losing the weight, I was realizing how much my body and my skin was changing and how much loose skin I was developing. It was really, really having even a negative impact on my on me, because I was thinking, I lost all this weight. I spent 2 years dieting and exercising, and I want to look good. I want to feel confident, but I'm unable to feel confident even at my goal weight. Even looking skinny in clothes, I still felt so insecure about my body and how it looked without the clothes on. And people would from the side, all my friends and family, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You look great. You look amazing. You don't need anything. I could never even tell that you have been overweight. And in my mind, I was like, you don't even know when the clothes come off. And, I was so insecure. I never wore, until this day, like I never wore sleeveless or anything very tight, because I was so insecure. And this is something that when you lose so much weight, you want to look good, and you don't only want to look good in clothes. You want to look good without, in a bikini, or just feel confident.
More revealing, something more revealing.
Well, yeah, exactly. Tight clothing.
Tati, can you tell me a little bit of detail because it varies for different people. So when you started to lose the weight, where was it that you saw the sort of, in this instance, excess skin, or where did your body change and not go back to the way it was? Because when we see your face, you have a beautiful, stunning face. And so you look gorgeous, young, youthful, as you should. But what are the areas that you were unhappy about? What had happened? Describe to me the changes that you experienced.
My tummy looked awful. It was loose. The skin just didn't go back just like it would. My arms, my thighs, and my entire body just was basically like a balloon that would deflate.
Mm-hmm. And so people think of that as sometimes as an aesthetic issue, which indeed it is. But there's a functional component, right? Because now you've lost this weight and you want to go to the gym and run. And how easy was it to run or swim or do the exercise that you wanted to do with all this extra skin that was around?
I mean, no matter how much I did all the exercising, when I was considering plastic surgery, I got a lot of negative comments. Oh, you should just go to the gym and then the skin will go away. And I just had to explain to every single person, when you lose 100 pounds, the loose skin is inevitable. And no matter how much I go to the gym, how much weights I lift, or how many miles I run, it's skin. It's not going to go anywhere, right, no matter how much muscle that I gain.
And the elasticity. I mean, it's just it's shot.
Exactly.
It's shot. The elasticity.
Listen, I mean, I think that what you just said is the underbelly of this whole segment, which is, yes, once you've lost the weight, your body starts to feel healthy. Your heart's like, oh my God, God bless you, and your liver and everything is feeling amazing because you're at a great weight. But the problem is that, and this is where people find a lot of psychological backlash, is that people don't give you the same type of support as they did when you were losing the weight as to then remove the skin, because unless you walk around naked, nobody knows what's going on.
I think it's more than that. I think weight loss is, Tati, as a woman, do you think that weight loss is health oriented and plastic surgery is vanity? Like they're excited that you did something healthy that they can understand, but now it's like, oh, now you want to be like a Barbie. Like now, oh, really? Like the weight loss isn't enough. Now you want to be perfect. Like, did you feel that could have been sort of the subtext of it, that it was a vanity issue?
I think to some extent it was, because everyone was like, oh my God, not everybody is perfect. And it's really easy for people who have the perfect body to sit there and say, oh, it's not about being perfect. And, it's not about being perfect. It's about being healthy. And that's exactly what this entire journey was. It was about being healthy and feeling healthy, but not only physically, but mentally, because nobody understands when you don't have that perfect body. It doesn't matter what people around me look like. I don't care what models look like. I don't care what anybody looks like, what celebrities look like. It doesn't matter to me. It's what I want to look like. I want to have a perfect body. I want to have no loose skin, and I want to wear a bikini and not feel like and I don't even care about what people around me are saying, but I want to feel like I'm confident. I look my best, and I love it.
And I got to tell you, from when I met you to this conversation right now, you have made an incredible journey. Because when I met you, you were very shy, you were very insecure, and you were very uncomfortable. Just talking about this with me, you were uncomfortable. You are now the poster child for the process. You were so courageous, and you were willing to share your journey in order to inspire other people, and you did that on people. Now you're here talking, and you're talking with such a degree of confidence that nobody would even know that when I met you, this was such a huge, I don't know, insecurity for you, because now you own it, and there's such a beautiful feeling in that. Can we segue now a little bit to another subject, which is because I want the listeners to understand the idea. So you walk into my office and you say, hey, Dr. Bond, I lost 100+ pounds, and I'm unhappy with, in your instance, let's say your arms, your thighs, and your abdomen and your breasts, which, by the way, is pretty standard. There's nothing.
Kind of everything but her calves is what you're saying,
well,
like, pretty much.
Well, to be honest with
you.
Oh,
I'm unhappy with that, too.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing I can do about it.
But to be honest with you, because she's so young and has such great genetics, for example, it's not uncommon for a young person to also have issues with their neck, but she's got such a beautiful face. So in reality, she even needs a little less than most people. But so you came in, and then what was the deal? So what we needed to figure out was, what are we going to do? So there's this whole concept of, do we do it all at once? Do we do it in segments? And what I tried to explain to you was that it depends on your approach to surgery, right? Because patients, of course, understandably want to do what? They want to get it all done in one shot. I'm in, get rid of all the skin so I can go move on with my life. The problem with that is, in order to do high quality, good, sound, safe surgery, there's a limit to what one can do in a given sitting. So, for example, I do all my surgeries by myself. So in the weight loss category, this massive weight loss, the problem is a lot of the clinics and a lot of the doctors approach patients like Tati like they're reconstructive patients, like a burn patient or a breast cancer patient. So they don't put that much emphasis on the cosmetic outcome. The philosophy is, if I remove all the excess skin, the patient will be happy. Well, sorta. The problem is, you want your breasts to look beautiful. You want the scars to be thin. You want the arms, the legs to be symmetrical. And so often what happens is they bring in several people, that is the surgeon, the technician, another surgeon, to operate on a patient in a given moment and do all of the areas at once.
You have more than one. You could have like 2 or 3 people working on one body at one time.
Yeah. You basically, believe me, it's like NASCAR. So what you have is, you have one person on one arm, another person on another arm, someone in between the legs, and they're all operating simultaneously. The net goal being, let's knock this out and get it over with. What did I tell you when we met, Tati?
You know what? I remember when we met, that is the exact attitude that I had. I just wanted to do everything. I wanted to get it over with, because I am a very impatient person. But I remember listening to you and understanding that if I do want the perfect result, I need to do it at a pace and at steps and different surgeries, so that I can be absolutely satisfied and happy with my results, and not even think about, oh, did I make the right decision? Did I choose the right surgeon? So I think I have to thank you for that, because you put that mindset in me. Because when I came in, I was like, okay, so I'll do all of it at once and I'll be done. But that was not the case, and I had to deal with it. And, I came home, I thought about it, and I was like, this is probably the best approach to take. It's healthier, and I know it's going to take a little longer, but at the end, which is what's the most important for me, the end goal, it's going to be perfect. It's not just going to be mediocre. Oh, I removed the skin. No, I removed the skin and I look amazing, and I have no scar, or I have very minimal scars, and my recovery is perfect and everything looks good. It's not just, oh, I did a plastic surgery. Oh, I did my breast. But, because I know a lot of people who have done breast lifts and whatnot, and they're not happy. They just did it.
Right.
It's okay results.
Yeah,
but
you're just kind of knocking it out to get it over with. And the thing that we talked about, and so let's talk about that. So there's stages, and depending on what you need to do and how many things you want to address, this journey for a patient may be upwards of 4 to 5 surgeries. So what do we do? So what did we do? Tati already had her first and largest stage. That's called the body lift. The body lift is also known as a circumferential lipectomy, which basically means it's like a tummy tuck on steroids. It goes all the way around like a belt. So you remove excess skin of the trunk all the way around from the front all the way to the back and all the way around. That surgery, when done correctly, takes about 8 hours.
Wow.
Correct. Because you have to turn the
8
yes,
hours.
and you have to turn the patient side to side in order to do it correctly. So that's, in my opinion, again, this is sort of, I always refer to it, and I'll refer to it through the podcast on many occasions, the Hermes approach, which is high quality, Beverly Wilshire, top-notch approach. One surgeon, high quality closure, 8 hours. So you do the body lift. Then you would come back, and based on the patient's needs and preferences, you would do their breasts and their arms, or you would do their thighs. And you can't do everything at one time. So, for example, a lot of people combine arms and thighs. The problem being is when you want to get out of bed or mobilize, you're going to be put pressure on either your legs to get out of bed or your arms to get out of bed.
That makes sense.
So you're going to destroy the outcome. So I tell patients it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 5 stages in order to remove all the redundant skin. And in doing so, that's going to end up giving you the highest quality outcome possible.
I want to picture this in my head, Tati. And so when you do the around the world situation, do you lift? It's like pulling up a pair of pants almost on her, all around her whole body. What is it?
A body lift is a tummy tuck.
Okay.
Everyone understands that. It's
right.
removing the excess in the front.
Right.
And where the word body lift comes from is that you're lifting the thighs and lifting the buttock. So you are pulling the abdomen down, tightening it, and you're lifting up the thighs and the buttock that have fallen.
And that's all in one 8-hour surgery?
All in one shot.
That's a lot.
Now, in terms of how much weight because everyone's like, oh my God, do you lose more weight? Well, it depends on how much skin is in that, how much fat and skin is in there. And the average person will lose anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds of skin and fat in that removal. And if the patient is the right candidate, there really doesn't need to be much in the way of liposuction because they've already lost all the fat. They're not here because they're overweight. They're here because they just have excess skin. So that's really the key component we want to drive home today, which is once you've lost a ton of weight, you want to make sure that you are knowledgeable about the fact that it can be done all at once versus which you know for a fact is going to be done hastily. There's no way you can do that.
Well, it just sounds like that's a symmetrical nightmare. Like, is the guy on your left arm measuring and telling the guy on your right arm, hey, I got 13 over here. There's 13 inches on the, like, how does that?
It's just altogether, it's not right.
Okay.
Versus doing a high quality, independent, one at a time, treating each area as if that's the most important thing that you came for.
How many surgeries did Tati have altogether?
Well, Tati's only had one so far. She had the body lift. We did it how long ago, honey?
About 7 weeks. Yeah, 7 weeks.
7 weeks, so it's new.
So perfect segue to what's the recovery like? And without a doubt, the body lift is the grand poobah. It's the Cadillac of procedures. That's why we do it first. And so she'll tell you, what was your recovery like? So tell us a little about some of the things that.
Don't leave out the grim details because people always sugarcoat these things. I want to know exactly. Give it to me.
And I'm going to be absolutely as honest as I can possibly be. I didn't even know about a body lift before I went into my consultation. I thought I'm just going to need a tummy tuck. And then when Dr. Raban suggested a body lift, I was like, you know what, this actually makes sense. You know, this is going to be like the most perfect results. And I was thinking I'm going to be probably in the most excruciating pain after the surgery. It's going to be the hardest thing, but I was psychologically and mentally ready for the pain because I knew that the result was going to be absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And so I remember on the day of the surgery, I was so nervous. But for some reason, when I got into the surgical center and I met the anesthesiologist and, you know, had my talk with Dr. Bon, I knew that everything was going to go well. And I remember waking up from after the surgery and I felt no pain.
What?
I'm not kidding. I felt no pain. I was very comfortable, and I was just like, maybe it was the drugs. I don't know. Maybe I was.
Well, I mean, it's partially drugs, and partially it's clean work. Partially it's great anesthesia, and partially it's pain medication. But the point being, which you're underscoring, is it's not that everyone can expect it to be that way, but the reality is it's not unbearable or excruciating.
Unbearable. No, it's not.
How long
unbearable.
were you? You were able to. You went home. You walked. You know.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The first couple of days are a bit challenging because getting up and using the restroom.
They're a bitch. They're a difficult challenge. The first week sucks, and no one would expect otherwise. But it's again not unbearable.
No,
but it's not unbearable. Honestly, I am being completely honest with you. I was expecting to be crying from pain, and when the pain wasn't there, the type of pain I was waiting for, I was like, this is great. I was very, very happy. And you have the drains, which some people, myself, I thought were probably going to be the hardest thing, because I remember Heidi, who was the nurse who was preparing for it, told me I have to do the drains myself and record it. And I'm like, thinking about it, I'm like, how am I going to do it? I'm in pain. I'm on the bed, but I was doing it myself.
Yeah.
It's really not as
drains.
So the things are that you need to know, which I think Tati has addressed. You're going to be uncomfortable for probably about 2 weeks. We tell people that they can go back to a job at 2 weeks.
Okay.
You're going to be wearing a binder,
I did.
which you did, right? You went back to work.
Yes.
You're going to be wearing a binder, which is kind of like a girdle, for 6 weeks, which you did. You're going to have a drain, which collects some fluid for about a week, which may sound worse, but in reality, literally the patient, she's telling you she did it herself, which we don't even ask.
Where do they put the drains?
No, they come out of they're collecting the fluid that's in the space, and then they collect the blood, and you empty them and record them, which she did. And with the exception of just being a little, taking it easy, after 2 weeks, you go back to work. I mean, that's pretty extraordinary. And at 6 weeks, you go back to exercise. What are you doing now?
I'm exercising,
Wow.
and I'm doing all the things that I need to be doing, and it feels great. My recovery has been amazing.
That's amazing.
And
So
I'm going to the gym, and I feel great.
well, listen, that's fantastic.
Can we come back to you on another segment and talk about the stages and the support and sort of as we're winding down this journey, this hope for this new life you're going to have?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Just by doing this, the first stage, just by this body lift surgery after, I have so much confidence.
Save it all. Save it all.
Save it.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna hear about the so-called the new you.
We're back with Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm Monique Marvez. This is Dr. Radi Raban, and we're talking about a journey. Let's talk to her.
We're talking about our massive weight loss journey with one of my favorite patients, Tati. Tati, you still there?
Yes, still here.
Okay, honey, we have two more things that we want to address. So far, really, I think people are going to be just educated, which is really our goal. And I think you've done such an amazing job. I want to talk about two last things with you. One of them is what the support system needs to be in order to do such a journey. Because the reality is a lot of people are out there and they're alone. And I think it's really important to talk about having some support, help, both physically, financially, and emotionally. Can you tell us about what that was requiring? Because at the end of the day, this is a journey you're taking on your own, but it's kind of hard to do it without some key players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been lucky to have my mom and my sister beside me throughout any journey that I have chosen to go through. So I've been really lucky in that sense. And yeah, you need somebody that's going to be next to you, to help you throughout the 2 weeks, help you go to the restroom or, feed you and whatnot. So you definitely need somebody that's going to take care of you. And obviously financially, if anybody is thinking about plastic surgery and is losing weight and needs to understand that, when you do lose the weight, you're probably going to need plastic surgery and, start saving because, you're going to need to financially support yourself to pay for this.
Yeah, so you made a great point, which I try to do all the time. When an individual is let's say 100 pounds overweight, hypothetically, and you've finally made it to that place, that day when you look at the scale and you say, you know what, I'm going to lose weight. Theoretically, whatever method you use, it's going to take you health-wise about 1 year to 2 years to get there, as it did for you. So for a fact, almost guaranteed, I'd say 95% probable, you're going to end up with loose skin. And that loose skin, probably 99% probability, is going to bother you to the point that you're going to want to do something about it. Since this journey, because it's not just a breast aug or a rhinoplasty, it's a series of surgeries. It can be expensive. And if it's not expensive, you should be worried. Okay.
What does a body lift cost? Let's just put it out there.
I'm going to tell you in a second.
Okay.
You should start saving incrementally so that when the day, there are very few things that you can plan for, but this one you can, because you're not going to lose 100 pounds overnight, so that when you get to the place where you've made it to the top of the mountain, you have a rope to take you back down. And so you should save money. So the surgeries can range. And again, I don't want to say you get what you pay for, but
why not? It's true in some cases.
Because in some cases it's true. I don't necessarily know if something's extremely expensive, it necessarily means it's that much better. But I definitely know when something is cheap, it's definitely bad. So, so a body lift ranges from 6 to 8 hours, and in a really reputable place should run you between $20,000 to $45,000.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a car.
Yes, it is. It is a car, but this is a million times more important than a car. And remember, at the end of the day, this is a once in a lifetime change. The arms can range from 10 to 20,000. The legs can range from 10 to 20,000. The breast can range from 10 to 20,000. So you're looking at a sizable investment. Do you have to? Not at all. You don't have to at all. It's not a must. But you will know that at the end of the day, once you've made that decision to lose the weight, you kind of won't finish the journey unless you feel beautiful in your body. Which takes me to the last question. So now you can sort of, if you will, see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
7 weeks ago, you presented to me shy, a bit insecure, and very sort of uncertain as to what your young future holds in terms of your intimacy and relationships and dating and beach parties. Now you have had a taste of the first of a few surgeries that are going to, just give you your life back. Can you tell us about your mindset and the excitement and sort of what it all, how it's affecting you?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I was never expecting my results to be this amazing. I've looked at before and afters that you have posted on your website, and it all looked too good to be true. And I was like, I'll have good results, but it probably won't be perfect. And but after seeing my tummy now 7 weeks post-op, I'm incredibly happy. I have so much confidence now, honestly. And I know I'm not done with my results, but I know now 100% positive that when my full body transformation is completed, when I'm done with all my surgeries, I'm going to feel, and I feel great now, but I know that I'm going to feel 100%, and I'm just going to have that confidence that I was always lacking back. And that's exactly what I want.
I'm curious to know what psychologically has changed. Like there's a switch that flipped. I can almost hear in your voice that you first of all, may I ask how old you are? Is that rude?
Not at all. I'm 26 years old, and I will
young.
let you know.
She's very articulate for 26.
Yeah. So you're young, you're beautiful, and you're walking on this beautiful journey.
Yeah, and psychologically, I will tell you what has changed is me talking to you about my weight loss journey. Because I remember when Sally called me and told me, we have this offer, People Magazine. I absolutely was, I was on the phone. Yeah, I'll consider it. I hung up and I was like, absolutely not. I will not let anybody know that I was ever overweight. And I was literally trying to erase all my photos.
I asked her for an old photo. She says, I don't have any. I said, how is that possible? She says, I deleted all of them.
I deleted all of them.
She wanted to delete her past.
Was there shame? Were you ashamed that you had gotten that big? Like, what was the overriding emotion that would make you want to erase all of that?
Exactly. It was shame. I was looking at when I would see those pictures, I would get so mad at myself for letting myself get that far and be so unhealthy and so unhappy to the point where I have to lose all that weight and now end up having to go through plastic surgery. It was making me really mad at my own self. So I kept deleting everything from my phone, from my computer. But, my mom, who saves all the photos.
It's always the mom.
Yeah, it's always the mom. And sometimes she'll bring me an old photo and be like, look at you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, why haven't you deleted this? Why is this still in your phone?
Because I told you it is a part of you. It is a part of who you are. It is a part of your journey. And like everybody has parts of their past that maybe they're not excited about, maybe they're not proud about, maybe they wish they'd never done. But no one can delete, erase, and permanently remove a part of their existence. It's just the nature of it.
Absolutely. And I absolutely, at this point now, I agree with you. I agree that it was the most unhealthy thing I could have done, because in my mind, I would always be scared that, oh my God, somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to find out somehow that I was fat one day or before. And now I've accepted the fact that I was overweight. Now I'm not. Now I look great. Look at my tummy and I look good, and I'm just going to look better and better, and I'm going to feel better. It's not about looking great. I think with weight loss and, all these ads, there's people always think, oh, you're trying to look perfect. It's not about looking perfect. No, it's not about looking perfect. It's about feeling good inside and being happy with who you are and how you look.
And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to look at it. And you have been a pleasure. And I could not have asked for someone to be more insightful and present and enlightened and inspiring. So thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
We are blessed to have you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the journey.
Me too. Thank you so much.
I have so enjoyed this episode, Dr. Raban. Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I didn't realize it was going to be. I feel like I hung out with a friend. What a great girl Tati is. What a great. Thank you. I feel inspired. I'm going to go to the gym now. I have to tell you, I so enjoyed that episode. But I know that if people tune in to the next episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored, they're going to enjoy it just as much, and maybe even a tiny bit more, Dr. Raban.
See you next time.